Means that do it. Burger
Welcome Air Checks, Hour 2 of Episode 20. Bookcases is a sitcom about a Victorian publishing house and was aired from 1998 to 2000 by the BBC. Here's Episode 1 entitled Bronte Country.
The year?
1853.
The place?
London. Characters?
Me, that is Primus, and my mother?
Cordelia.
The mater's an actress. Of the top rank, so I'm told, though the last time she trod the boards was over 20 years ago. Since then, she says, she's been looking for the right script.
Also, darling, I'm looking for the right husband.
Ah, yes, the right husband. What a notion, n'est-ce pas? Someone, somewhere out there, is waiting to become my step-pater. So now, read on.
Bookcases by Martin Wade, with Michael Cochrane as Primus, Elizabeth Spriggs as Edith, Maggie Steed as Cordelia, and David Horowitz as Gerald. Episode 1, Bronte Country.
6 o'clock, Gerald.
Yes, the end of another day, the end of another week.
I hope you think it has been a good week, Gerald.
Oh, yes, Mother.
Are there things you've left undone, perhaps, which you ought to have done? You should you not, have arranged for a reprint of The Slaughter of the Innocents, specially told for young people by Mrs. G. Reynolds.
Yes, Mother.
And as regards things you have done, which perhaps you ought not to have done...
Yes, Mother?
I could mention the bonus you gave to Mr. Temperley.
Yes, Mother, you could. Now, Mother, what are you planning to do tomorrow?
I'm going to write to Mr. Temperley and urge him, as a Christian, to give the bonus back.
Oh. Well, I think I'll pay a visit to the zoo.
Look! Over by that tree, Primus. The gentleman with the very large beard. Wouldn't you like him for a step-pater, darling?
Not much, though he might be useful as a rug. I think I prefer that fellow there. Him, with the pink cravat.
Yes, darling, lovely, lovely. But him with the pink cravat has a pink woman trailing after him and 3 pink children.
Oh, he's nice. With the cap and the tray of buns.
Primus, I am not marrying a zookeeper.
And the mater then embarks upon a monologue with reference to times being hard, but not that hard, the importance of dignity and self-respect, and the need for her to marry well, not only to provide herself with comfort and security, but also in order to set me up in a good job, etc., etc. And as she warms to her theme, she wields her parasol with grand gestures worthy of her profession. And malheureusement...
You see, darling...
Ouch! She digs the sharp end of her parasol...
the kind of husband we're looking for...
into the blameless shin of a passerby. Ouch! Twice.
Oh, heavens! Oh, what have I done?
You've dug the sharp end of your parasol into the blameless shin of a passerby. Twice.
It's, nothing.
Blood! Blood! I've drawn blood.
Oh, surely not.
Take a seat, sir, please. Roll up your trouser leg, sir.
What? No, madam.
But madam is not to be denied. The trouser leg is rolled up, and madam's silk scarf, jauntily emblazoned with a Cupid motif, is tied around the wound.
Oh, heavens, how How can you forgive me? My name is Cordelia, by the way, and this is my dear, dear son, Primus.
Good afternoon.
Salut.
I had hoped for a secundus and a tertius, but alas, my dear, dear husband died before he could accomplish the necessaries.
My sincere condolences to you.
Thanks. What is your name, sir?
Spavin, Gerald.
Profession?
Publishing.
Publishing. How wonderful. That's something you've always been interested in, isn't it, Primus?
Is it, Mother?
And to which firm are you attached, sir?
Spavin and Spavin of Paternoster Row, specialists in Bibles and Bible commentary, doctrinal exegesis, prayer books, hymn books, lives of the martyrs.
And their gory but stimulating deaths, no doubt. May I ask what your position is within the firm?
I am managing director.
Managing director? Did you hear that, Primus?
Yes, Mother.
Though I confess I am not quite used to the title yet. Father died a mere 6 months ago.
My sincere condolences, darling.
Thank you.
Tell me, is there by chance a Mrs. Spavin?
There is.
Ah.
She shows great interest in the firm, despite her age and frailty. Dear Mother.
Ah. Yes, dear mother, indeed.
The mater doesn't really need me on these occasions, so I've gone off to watch the apes. Splendid creatures. I wonder if by any strange chance them and us might be related.
Sir. Sir.
Yes?
Sir, please forgive me for intruding upon your private thoughts, but I require assistance. Can you hear me, by the way?
Just about. She wears an adult's physog on a 10-year-old's body. Big nose, glasses, a twitch in one eye. Her bag, which is several sizes too large for her, is decorated with a brass monogram composed of the letters C.B.
I fear I am an exceedingly timid creature, sir, so I cannot speak any louder. In truth, I suffer from such anxiety and self-consciousness when going among strangers that it is a wonder that I ever managed to talk at all.
Oh, you're doing very nicely. Now, don't fret.
This nervous condition of mine, I might add, results in neuralgic headaches of the most obnoxious sort.
Hard lines.
And they are particularly acute at both the vernal and autumnal equinoxes. Also, sir, I am frequently ground to the dust with deep dejection of spirits. Sorrow and pain are my lot, sir.
Quel dommage.
But I bear my suffering with fortitude and endeavour to school myself against anticipating even the tiniest ray of happiness in this world.
Let's pray that you don't win the lottery. You'll die of shock. Now, how can I help?
Well, sir, I have a great longing to see a camel.
Camel? Is that one hump or two?
How is your leg, Mr. Spavin?
As good as new.
I have so enjoyed our conversation, have you?
Oh, hugely.
Our minds are very closely attuned to each other, do you not think?
Yes, I do.
We have so much in common, so much to share. Is yours a steady income, darling?
Pretty steady.
Your work must give you great pleasure.
Yes.
On account of your endeavours, Mr. Spavin, the populace receives divine revelation and the key to righteousness, and always, I'm sure, in an extremely attractive binding.
Are you a believer, madam?
Me? Heavens, yes. I believe in pretty well everything. Now, darling, we must make sure that we meet again very, very soon.
Can't think, can't work. I am in love. In love? Me? I can scarcely believe it's possible. Me, Gerald Spavin of Spavin and Spavin, whose whole life has been, well, dull, for want of a better word. I have the mark still where she drove in the point of the parasol, and I have her silk headscarf with which she so tenderly dressed the wound. I have told Mother nothing. I will have to tell her eventually, I suppose. I mean, I'll be required to make some allusion to Cordelia if I invite her here for tea. Cordelia. And her dear son, Primus. Yes, him I shall learn to love.
Yes, lady?
The high road, East Finchley, please, darling.
Do you think you'll marry him, Mother?
Oh, darling, the driver?
No, Gerald Spavin of Spavin and Spavin.
I might.
He's horribly humdrum.
He is. But he does run a profitable business, and you could join it. You don't have a wealth of experience in the field of publishing.
I don't have experience in any field.
But that's your strength, you see. You'd come to Spavin and Spavin fresh and uncorseted.
Throbbing with vitality.
Suppurating with fresh ideas.
No more books on religion. That would be my first fresh idea.
Yes. Of course, Mr. Spavin might not care for that particular fresh idea, nor might his mother, but they'd have to give it serious consideration. Do you think you would like to join the firm, darling?
Possibly. Spavin, Spavin, and Primus. Goats and monkeys, it's busy, ain't it? You know what I'd do if I was in charge of London's transport?
What, darling?
I'd build an electric-powered railway underneath the ground.
Heavens, darling! That is a fresh idea.
Oh, bloody hell! Bloody traffic!
Oh, look! It's her! I'm sure it is.
Oh, darling.
The midget I met at the zoo. Driver, stop the carriage.
It is bloody stopped.
That office there, number 65.
Publishers, I think, darling.
Yes, and in the window a picture of... who does it say?
Cara Bell, author of Jane Eyre. Well. Apparently everyone's read Jane Eyre. Have you read Jane Eyre, darling?
No.
Nor have I. Was Cara Bell nice?
No, she was not. She was a pain in the cods.
Spoilt by fame, the silly woman. No, they could never say that of me. Of course, she might be useful to you, darling.
In my new career, you mean? Yes. Cara Bell, England's sensational...
but spoiled...
best-selling author, signs up for Spavin, and Primus. Very nice. I'll track her down.
Sir, I have a publisher.
Of course you do.
He is a man of good faith and integrity.
And I, madam, am a man of great charm and absolutely enormous energy. And I know all that there is to be known about formats and niches and readership profiles and marketing and promotion. Par example, your name.
My name?
Cara Bell. I'd have changed that straight away if you'd been with me. You want something that says romance, excitement, danger.
It isn't my real name.
Oh, is it not?
My sisters and I, we all of us adopted nom de plume when we took our first steps in the literary world. My real name is Charlotte Bronte.
Charlotte Bronte. Oh, yes, much better. It has a real touch of the je ne sais quoi, n'est-ce pas? Now, you stick with that. You have sisters, you say? And they write, you say?
No, sir. They no longer toil in this vale of tears.
Writer's block, eh?
Sir, they are dead. My brother, too, is dead. My sister's dog is dead.
Hard lines. What happened? A driving accident? A meteor? Now tell me, if you will, where is Bronte Country? Exactement.
Mother?
Yes, Gerald?
I'm not coming into the office tomorrow.
You're not? Why not? Are you planning to be ill?
No, Mother, I'm planning to go on a train.
A train? Whither?
Northwards, I think.
Why?
Because I've been asked to. By a woman I met at the zoo.
At the zoo?
Yes, Mother, in front of the elephant house.
Gerald?
Yes, Mother?
I think you are ill.
I've never been to Yorkshire. There are moors and so forth, I believe. Are we going tramping?
No, Mr. Spavin, or shall I call you Gerald? We're going on business.
Are we?
Book business, darling.
Oh, dear.
You may not have realized, Gerald, that my son has connections with the literary world.
No, I was unaware of that.
I am, for example, a close personal friend of the eminent novelist Cara Bell, a.k.a. Miss Charlotte Bronte.
Author of Jane Eyre. Have you read it, darling?
No.
She herself has a contractual arrangement with her present publishers, Smith, Elder and Company, from which she is unable to extricate herself. However, For her two sisters,
Acton and Eris Bell,
a.k.a. Anne and Emily,
the situation is somewhat different.
you see, Gerald, a.k.a. Mr. Spavin, they are dead. They have abandoned all interest in publishers and contracts. And yet, sir, from what I understand, they will have left something of a legacy behind them, for they all were writers since they first clutched a quill. And even the degenerate Bronte brother, whose chief interest lay in destroying his brain with laudanum and Yorkshire bitter, even he, it seems, found a lucid moment or two in which to jot down a poetic effusion or make a start on a novel. Now that home of theirs, I'll wager, is a treasure trove of Bronteana. Poetry, prose, letters, diaries. Let Spavin and Spavin publish that lot, sir, and it will be the publishing coup of the century.
Oh, bugger in hell! Bugger in with that! What a bastard!
But, Primus...
Yes, Gerald?
I must remind you, Spavin and Spavin doesn't publish that sort of thing. Never has done.
We know that, darling. But if there was a high moral tone to it, if it was gorgeously pious and godly and well-priced...
If it's sold in huge quantities...
What possible objection could there be? Oh, Gerald. Primus is such a fine, splendidly equipped boy.
Throbbing with vitality.
Suppurating with fresh ideas.
Oh, dear.
He's always wanted to work in publishing. Always.
Ready? You must all get out and walk to rest.
Sorry, darling.
To horse. He don't go up to hill.
No, what you urge me may have much to recommend it. Possibly. But you see, the firm has a solid base and a solid reputation. It has a tradition of religious publishing which goes back 4 generations.
Time for a change, perhaps.
And also, you see, I have to think about my mother.
Oh, do you? Why?
She's a bully and a tyrant.
Oh, darlings, what a gorgeous view.
Moors, more moors, grey houses, the Black Bull Inn, rain. Oh, yes, it's all here. At last, we reach the parsonage at Haworth, are admitted into the study, and there meet the father of the Bronte brood, the Reverend Patrick.
Good afternoon.
I beg your pardon?
Good afternoon.
The white stock he wears is pulled over his mouth. He says, I think he says, that he wears it in order to protect himself from consumption, cholera,
Rubella, black water fever, botulism, typhoid.
scarlatina, encephalitis, all of which apparently are virulent in this hellhole of Tynorth.
Mr. Bronte, darling, I do assure you, we all come with a clean bill of health.
Oh, yes.
And at last he is persuaded to lower his stock.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I am very ancient. I am half blind. I am exceeding frail.
You have survived, sir. You have outlived almost all your children. Bravo! Now, sir, we and me must get to work.
Your son indeed is a bundle of energy.
He is. He is. Oh, Gerald, I am so glad you love the boy. For by loving him, you know, you show your love for me. Inspiring places, churchyards. Don't you think?
Yes, though I wouldn't like to be in one forever.
I had some gorgeous lines about death in a play I was in with dear old Binky Burfoot. Death is... Death is... Anyway, do you feel inspired enough to kiss me, darling?
What? Oh, yes. Yes.
Gorgeous, darling.
Oh, my dearest, my sweetest, my soul's other half. I'm so incredibly, well, happy, I suppose, for want of a better word. Happy. It never happened to me before. There's just one difficulty.
Yes, darling?
It isn't Primus as such. It's Primus and Publishing. Would he not like to consider some other career path? Or try his luck, perhaps, with publishers more suited to his specific areas of interest?
I don't think so, darling. Kiss me again.
Your daughter agreed, sir, that I might look through the whole jolly lot, sir. Where are these boxes you spoke of, sir?
Beneath the bed.
Beneath the bed. She and I are well acquainted. She knows me as a man of good faith and integrity. Nothing inferior or in any way damaging to the reputation of your offspring will be published. And, of course, your daughter will be consulted at every stage of the process. Success! This one's marked B.
B for Branwell. Poor dear Branwell. Open it.
Morning, sleep. Afternoon, get rat-arsed. Well, another box. This one's marked E.
For Emily.
And this one bears the letter A.
For Anne.
And this one's C for Charlotte. Busy beavers, the Brontes. One more. Marked X. X?
Xmas decorations.
There is something else to consider, of course. Aside from these manuscripts and the solemn duty we have to publish what is of true worth...
Do you mean my own poems, sir?
No, sir. Heritage.
Heritage?
Yes. How about the parsonage as a museum come Bronte archive and research centre, with you as chief curator and living exhibit?
Oh.
Aye. Well, think on't. It's night. I'm in bed. I'm in Emily's room. We're staying over, you see. I'd hoped I might grab everything and go, but there's too much. Needs a thorough, rigorous sorting through. So, the stuff I can read on this pile, and what can't be deciphered except with a microscope, that stays behind. Very tired. Been a long day. Oh, at the top of Emily's box, I found a hefty manuscript entitled Wuthering Heights 2, The Perverted Passion Continues. That sounds promising, eh? Blasted wind. Blasted tree. Blasted window. Ooh!
Let me in!
Ooh! Who are you?
Emily Jane Bronte. I've been dead these 20 years.
Liar. It's more like 5.
Well, it feels like 20, I tell you. Ooh! Let me in!
No.
No.
No. Don't believe in ghosts.
Step 1. Cock the pistol. Step 2.
Morning, Mr. Bronte.
Direct it towards the ceiling.
Oh, dear.
Step 3.
No, stop.
It is not pointed at you, sir. Wherever you are.
Indeed it is not, but you are holding the pistol the wrong way round. It's pointed at yourself.
Good Lord. Oh, there. Is that any better?
Wait a minute. Yes, that's better.
Fire!
Finished?
Yes. Oh, and thank you for your help. I do this every morning, you know.
Then I am surprised you have lived so long. Why do you do it?
It helps to foster my reputation for eccentricity. Sir, I have received a letter. Would you be so kind as to read it for me?
Certainly. Dear Papa, I have left London, am now in Manchester staying with Mrs. Gaskell, and if all be well, I intend to reciprocate her kind hospitality.
Papa, I'm back!
Come in, Charlotte.
And I have brought Mrs. Gaskell with me.
Well then, she must come in too.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning, and to you, madam.
Good morning, good morning.
Now, Charlotte, a letter has arrived, and I'm having it read to me by this kind gentleman whose name I have forgotten.
I think that letter is my own, Papa.
No. You'll find it's addressed to me.
Papa, Mrs. Gaskell here is a dear friend of mine.
Also author of Mary Barton and Cranford.
Never heard of them.
Might I ask, sir?
Spavin, Gerald Spavin of Spavin of Spavin.
Ah, good morning, sir.
Spavin and Spavin.
Publishers of religion.
Yes, I have some of your books on my shelves. Where are my shelves?
I believe, Miss Bronte, that an acquaintance of mine is well known to you, a young fellow by the name of Primus.
Sir, I know him, but not well.
Oh, I think you'll find you do, my dear. He is a friend of long standing.
No, Papa.
You regard him as a man of good faith and integrity.
No, Papa.
And it is with your permission, Charlotte, that he has been sorting through the boxes in my bedroom.
The boxes in your bedroom? Oh, Papa!
Oh, dear. Primus!
Yes?
Primus, you lied to me.
And you lied to my dear friend, Miss Bronte.
And you lied to me, sir.
Morning, everyone. Lied? Surely not.
Liar! Knave! The name's Mrs. Gaskell, by the way, novelist, author of Mary Barton and Cranford.
Never heard of them.
To return, you are a liar and a knave. You gained Miss Bronte's trust by deception. You cheated your way into this house in order to make money out of both her and her sorry siblings.
Now, that's quite unfair.
Liar, knave. Step one, cock the pistol.
Hang on.
Say your prayers, miscreant.
God almighty.
That's enough. Mr. Bronte. Sir, am I pointed in the right direction?
No, sir.
Then point me.
Gerald. Sir, Mr. Spavin. Think of Mother.
Give me the gun.
Help! Oh, blasted window! Help!
Oh, the parsonage has been purged of the vile intruders. And poor Miss Bronte, afflicted with a dreadful headache as a result of the morning's events, has gone to her room. I have promised her that I will restore the contents of the boxes, put everything back in its proper place. Good gracious. You would not believe the wealth of material. Aside, I mean, from the juvenilia and other creative work, there are letters and more letters. There are diary papers. There is enough stuff here to yield a fine, fat volume of biography. And with the minimum of effort, I'd imagine. Well, Mrs. Gaskell, why not? I'll keep that, and 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 that.
The shot missed me.
Oh, my little chick.
But it broke the rusted window catch. The window flew open.
And Primus flew out.
Oh, my angel.
Mrs. Gaskell then took aim from the window, though, of course, I did my very best to prevent her.
Oh, courageous Gerald.
This time, she hit me.
Oh, heavens.
Well, that is, she hit the thick manuscript, which I had snatched up before I made my getaway and stuffed inside my shirt. Wuthering Heights 2, the perverted passion continues. It saved my life.
Oh, gorgeous, darling.
And then, Cordelia, there was a chase with Mrs. Gaskell in pursuit of Primus and me in pursuit of Mrs. Gaskell. But she gave up when she reached the moors, for it was very wet and there were treacherous bogs.
And I fell in one. Naturellement.
Oh, my lambkin.
And I rescued him.
Oh, fearless, Gerald.
My life was saved a second time. Sir, how can I ever repay you?
Well, since you ask, Primus, you might like to have another very serious think concerning your future career.
Sir, Mr. Spavin, Gerald, I have already done so, and I tell you I am more determined than ever to make a success of publishing.
Oh.
I shall send my suit to the cleaners and start all over again.
Bravo! By the by, whatever happened to Perverted Passion Part 2?
Ah, it also went into the bog, and it didn't come out.
That was episode 1 of Bookcases by Martin Wade. Primus was played by Michael Cochran, Cordelia by Maggie Steed, Gerald by David Horowitz, and Edith by Elizabeth Spriggs. Charlotte Bronte was played by Sarah Jane Home, the Reverend Bronte by Geoffrey Whitehead, Mrs. Gaskell by Frances Jeter, and The Drivers by David Antrobus. Bookcases was directed by Cherry Cookson.
That was Bronte Country. Here's the second episode entitled Gone for a Burton.
The year
1855.
The place?
London. Characters?
Me, that is Primus, And the mater?
Cordelia.
She's an actress, though it's a while since she found a part suited to her talents. She's also a jolly good chum of the managing director of a publishing firm.
Gerald, he's a darling.
She might marry him, she thinks. And you see, as a result of this gratifying relationship...
My dear boy Primus, who previously had never quite discovered his true métier...
I've made a career choice. I'm getting into publishing. I've as good as joined Gerald's firm. I'm threatening to become another Victorian success story.
Gorgeous, darling. So now, read on.
Bookcases by Martin Wade, with Michael Cochrane as Primus, Elizabeth Spriggs as Edith, Norman Rodway as Richard Burton, Maggie Steed as Cordelia, and David Horowitz as Gerald. Episode 2, Gone for a Burton.
Lord God Almighty, who has safely brought us,
viz. Gerald Spavin and his mother Edith,
to the beginning of this day,
viz. Monday, August the 26th,
grant that all our doings,
viz. at Spavin and Spavin, religious publishers of Paternoster Row,
may be ordered by thy governance, so that we may do thy holy work, and at the same time reap such pecuniary benefit as may constitute a comfortable sufficiency. Amen.
I have a secret which I have kept from Mother, if not from God. I am in love, for want of a better word. Yes, me, in love with the most wonderful woman in the world. But the wonderful woman has a son, a feckless creature. Oh, dear. Mother.
Yes, Gerald?
Might I have a word?
Yes, Gerald?
He mustn't join the firm.
Is it about Bishop Butler's missing page proofs?
No, Mother. It'll be the death of Mother if he does. He'll finish the firm off too, no doubt.
Is it about the monthly figures?
Not directly, Mother. But the difficulty is I all but promised the most wonderful woman in the world that I'd give the feckless creature a decent chance.
Gerald, are you intending to tell me what it is about?
It's about a woman.
A woman?
The very same woman, Mother, that I met at the zoo, along with her son.
A son? By whom?
By the father, Mother, who has since perished. He's a very personable lad, good at heart, and as for his mother, I am in love with her.
Nonsense! Impossible!
Her name is Cordelia.
That makes no difference. Gerald, you know nothing about such things. Your life has been given up to religious books and celibacy. In love? With a woman you met at the zoo? You're a fool, Gerald, or a liar, or both. I'd ask you not to refer to this matter again.
As you wish, Mother. One thing I ought to mention, though. She and the personable son, they're coming round for tea.
Well, Mother, by all accounts, she's the prime article, the very thing itself. Her name is Katie Joyner, and she writes biographies that sell by the wagon load.
Katie Joyner? Yes, of course.
Have you read any of them, Mother?
No, darling.
Nor have I. But my understanding is that they're extraordinarily shocking and revelatory. All sorts of skeletons are dragged out of their respective cupboards when the Joiner's at work. So I thought, if her next volume were to be published by Spavin and Spavin...
And Primus...
It would be a top-rank coup, n'est-ce pas? A way of saying, new regime, new Spavin, success!
Gorgeous, darling.
Good day, madam. Good day, sir. I wonder if I might share your vehicle.
For what purpose, sir?
So that I may get home.
Well, where is your home?
Can't tell you that.
Why not? Are you plotting a conspiracy?
No, madam. I am a restless vagabond, a nomad, a wild rover. Can't help myself. It's just the Bedouin in my soul. And you see, I am so often on my travels that I cannot remember where my house is. Also, as it happens, I have since breakfast consumed 3 pipes of opium and a bottle of gin. But I was hoping that if I travel with you far enough, I might glimpse a locality that looks familiar and discover the way to my abode.
I like your fancy dress. Have you been to a party?
I have not. I've been alone, but I've been very good company too. No, sir. This is the clothing I wore when I worked as an undercover agent investigating the homosexual brothels of Karachi.
Oh.
Mirza Abdullah of Bushir, your humble servant.
Gorgeous, darling.
I'm a master of disguise. I'm a linguist, too. Fluent in 35 languages. Arabic, Gujarati, I can't remember the rest. Also, I fought alongside the Bashi Bazooks in the Crimea.
Oh.
I am a dopehead and an alcoholic, of course. I've committed every sin in the Decalogue. I'm a writer.
A writer? A king of the quill?
Works include falconry in the Valley of the Indus, a complete system of bayonet exercise.
Well, I, sir, am a publisher. What is your name?
My name?
Apart from Mirza Abdullah. A bit unfair to throw that one at you, but...
Look, my card.
Richard Francis Burton.
Yes, that's me.
It also has your address.
Of course it does.
Purloin, sir, that's where your house is.
Is it?
But we're not going quite that far, I'm afraid. What a lovely little building.
Nice view.
Have you been here long, Mrs. Spavin?
Since 7:30 this morning.
Yeah, I think what Cordelia was asking, Mother, was whether the firm is well established.
Oh, well, if that is what she was asking, the answer is yes.
Ritual and doxology in the early British Church. St. Gilbert and the Nuns of Sempringham.
Our latest publications.
Selling like hot-cross buns, I bet.
You've never tried publishing fiction at all?
What, madam?
Fiction, you know, stories.
Fiction is the titillation of the baser parts. Fiction is the fruit of the poison tree.
Biography, sport, travel.
We publish religion.
So I gather.
We have always published religion since 1749. You, sir.
Me, madam?
Primus's name is Primus, Mother.
I'm informed that your mother is an actress.
That's right, darling.
What are you?
Me, madam?
Do you have a profession?
Oh, yes, we're certain, madam, I do.
You see, Mother...
I'm in publishing.
Are you? And which particular publishing house is it which accommodates you?
If I may just at this point interject a word or two which may be helpful.
This publishing house.
This one?
This one?
No. No.
Oh, it's true, darling. Ask Gerald.
Well, thank you for coming. Both of you.
Darling, the pleasure was entirely ours. Your mother isn't upset, I hope.
Upset? No. She was a little taken by surprise, that's all. My fault. I should have broached the matter of Primus's employment a little in advance.
I take it there'll be no problem?
No.
I'd like to get cracking ASAP, on a formal basis, I mean. My own office, regular salary, really start to show what I'm made of. Turn the firm round.
Turn it round?
Of course, I've done a lot of hard work already.
Primus has lined up 2 major publications.
He's done what?
One, a meticulously researched, sensational new work by the celebrated biographer Katie Joyner. The subject, to be announced.
And 2...
a travel book by Richard Burton. He's a close personal friend of mine. I was talking to him earlier today, in fact. He's agreed to write about his trip to discover the source of the Nile.
The source of the Nile? Has it been discovered?
Not yet. The idea is the firm funds the trip and the Burton finds the source. Result, bestseller!
Gerald?
Yes, Mother?
You are a fool. You are unutterably idiotic. To give a boy such as him, to give a juvenile delinquent a job at Spavin and Spavin...
It's for a trial period, Mother. Primus on probation, and at the end of 6 months...
6 months? I must have the creature's sickly, silly face in here for 6 months? And for no other reason than that you think you've fallen in love with his mother? I I'm going to lie down. Suddenly my heart's not right.
Saturday. I am at the Royal Observatory, Greenwich, with my beloved.
Isn't that extraordinary, darling? Look, you are in the Western Hemisphere, and I am in the East.
Wherever you are, Cordelia, there will I follow.
Gorgeous, darling. Do you believe in divine synchronicity? Do you believe that things are somehow ordained in advance? Do you believe in kismet?
Yes, at least I'm sure I could do if I put my mind to it.
You see, I never feel I'm entirely in control of things.
Nor do I. Not nowadays. I used to be.
Events arise up and take me by surprise. One day I'm at the zoo, I plunge the point of my parasol into a stranger's leg, and suddenly I've met the man of my life.
Darling. Angel.
Oh, just remembered. That Nile fellow, Burton.
Yes?
Primus wonders if you might have a chat with him.
Me?
Yes, darling. Soonest, he says. He'd do it himself, but he's very busy with Katie Joyner, the meticulous sensational biographer. The idea is, says Primus, to finalise the terms with Burton. Draw up a contract, that sort of thing. Strike while the Nile's hot.
Cordelia, my treasure, I am so much in love with you that there is nothing I wouldn't do for you and for your dear son. Almost nothing. But, Cordelia, there is a small difficulty with regard to Mother.
Nonsense, darling. She's an absolute sweetie. Mr. Burton, by the way, is residing at the Goat and Monkey in Spitalfields. He's in disguise. You can't miss him.
Peter of Camel Dung, son of a banyan pip!
Excuse me, sir. May I ask your name?
My name?
It isn't by any chance Richard Burton.
That's the fellow. Dick Burton, special agent, master of disguise, explorer, linguist.
My name's Spavin.
Yeah, of course it is. Greetings, salut, Zaratsfuti, salve, scarab, salamander.
Has something unfortunate happened?
I was stood at the bar of that vile public house there, examining the bottom of my glass, when a sailor approached me and made an insulting insinuation about my drooping mustachios. I immediately challenged him to a duel with sabres, but the coward declined. "No thanks, mate," he said, and punched me on the nose.
You were ill-used, I think.
I was, sir, I was. But, Effendi, at times like these I am able to find consolation in the mystic wisdom of the Sufis and seek tranquility through contemplation. Ah, behold, the duck and caterpillar. Now, what are you having?
I don't drink as a rule.
I'll have a large gin.
Oh, right. Landlord, a large gin, please. Now, Mr. Burton.
That's me?
Regarding this deal which was broached by my colleague...
Yes, I, for my part, have not been slow. Let me assure you, my personal belongings and scientific instruments are all packed. The provisions are all provided for. I have a team of 300 coolies and 500 donkeys standing by in Zanzibar, and a boat moored at Tilbury. It simply remains for you to pay me in cash, and at the first available opportunity, right now by preference, the sum previously agreed with your young colleague to cover both the funding of this momentous expedition and the first half of the fee for the resulting book.
What was the sum previously agreed?
£4,000.
£4,000? Landlord, another large gin, please.
My rule is simple, sir. Dig deep. Tell all. I am merciless in my pursuit of the truth. I hate hypocrisy and deceit, and I am no respecter of persons.
Top notch, Miss Joyner. Prime cut.
My works include The Secret Life of Florence Nightingale, The Secret Life of Lord Palmerston, and The Secret Life of Albert Francis Charles Augustus Emmanuel of Saxe-Coburg-Gotha.
Who?
The Queen's consort. Now I see from your card, sir, that you are a representative of Spavin and Spavin.
I am, madam.
Then let me tell you, I have no intention of writing the life of a saint.
Ça va, so dear.
Unless that is
The saint transpires to be a sinner, and has perpetrated all manner of private perversions in the protracted intervals between his public acts of virtue.
Oh, yes, Sir Tullamore. Let me enlighten you, Miss Joyner. In the past, of course, Spavin and Spavin has devoted itself to religious publications, but my arrival at the firm has raised something of a breeze. Change is the watchword now. Change, change, change. That's the mode. We're going secular, madam, in a really, really big way. Do you dare to be part of this publishing revolution?
Fleabag! Mangy cur!
We have left the Duck and Caterpillar in some haste on account of Mr. Burton entering into a disagreement with the landlord's dog, challenging into a duel with sabres and being badly bitten in several places.
Scurvy bungle! Bum sniffer!
The beast was very rough with you, sir.
It was. I was ill-used. Still, there's always another caravanserai just around the corner.
The contract, by the way, remains undrawn up. The truth is, I am beginning to have some doubts about this man.
So, to continue my tale, I grew a beard down to my navel and covered my skin with henna. I journeyed with the Jat camelmen, listened to their conversations, and very quickly acquired the complexities of their language.
Where are we?
Haven't a clue.
Oh, dear.
London, perhaps? Look about this contract.
Ah, yes.
Yes?
Well,
damn it, Effendi, am I getting the 4,000 or not? £50 in flimsies would do in the first instance.
It's getting dark. Also, we're lost.
Lost? How can we be lost? We don't know where we're going.
Good morning.
Oh, it's you.
Correct. Nice room. Nice view.
Yes, and the time is 10 to 11.
Just a little after, indeed.
You are almost 3 hours late.
Well...
Listen, young person. I do not want you here at all. Spavin and Spavin has no need whatsoever of your asinine conduct and your presumptuous aspirations. It has done tolerably well without them since 1749. But if you must work for us, if you must receive payment from us, you'll work the full hours.
Oh, you're getting a fair whack out of me, madam, I do assure you. This morning, par exemple, I was in Islington, continuing my very delicate discussions with Miss Katie Joyner.
I have never heard of Miss Katie Joyner.
Oh, surely, madam.
But even if I had, I cannot conceive of a situation in which I would wish you to have discussions with her.
Well, madam, your son is fully informed of the situation.
My son is not here. My son has not been here for the past 3 days. My son has been corrupted by your mother. He's staying with her, I suppose.
Oh, no, madam. He's staying with Richard Burton.
Richard Burton?
Linguist, explorer. Take a look at this.
It's a handbill.
Correct. An announcement of future publications.
Whose future publications?
Ours. Exciting, eh?
You're mad.
They always say that about men of genius.
Also?
Yes?
You're fired.
Morning, Mother.
Gerald?
Greetings.
Oh.
Heretic. Bora Bora.
And Mr. Burton, too.
What has happened?
Well, Mother, I've been to hell and back.
Gerald, darling, you're not looking quite in the pink.
Oh, Cordelia, if I were to tell you the full frightfulness of the last few days...
I do hope you will, darling. I love horror stories.
Roaming, wandering down dark alleys and rodent-infested passages, encountering all manner of evil-smelling, blaspheming, undesirable people. Oh, and we think we saw Charles Dickens, too, with a notebook. And then, after incidents and misfortunes and sleepless nights, we at last reached the office, and there was my mother in the extremities of distress.
The poor dear.
She says that if things go on this way, she's certain to suffer a fatal recurrence of her heart complaint.
Oh, how dreadful.
Perhaps...
Yes, darling?
Perhaps if Primus were to consider some other profession?
Oh, no, darling, I don't think so. Publishing, he's decided, is exactly up his paternoster row, and he's achieved so much already.
Well, he's made an impact on the firm, that's undeniable.
Nothing can be gained in life without risk, without change, without a sense of adventure. Don't you agree, darling?
Absolutely. And for you, my sweetest.
And for Primus.
I would risk everything. Almost. Perhaps he'd like to go to India.
India, darling?
He could set up a branch of the firm there. Or perhaps I could.
Gerald, sir, Mr. Spavin, good evening. You know, I'm a little worried about the Burton.
Yes.
He's having a bit of a bad trot.
He's a wayward genius, darling, a man apart.
He drinks.
As per un poisson. He takes opium, too.
He's depressed.
He's thoroughly disorganized.
His head's up his fundament.
Myself, I can't see him discovering the source of the Nile.
Myself, I can't see him discovering the source of the Thames.
If I were you, darling, I'd tell him to postpone the trip till the 1860s.
No, Mother, can't do. I've got the whole publicity apparatus set up. Advertising space booked, posters printed, notices sent out to the papers. No, can't pull out now.
Burton. Sit down. Care for a chop?
No, thanks, Effendi. Just had a gutful of chicken kebabs.
Glad you could come. I've got a little proposition to make.
Oh, yeah?
Excuse me, sir. That's a no-smoking table.
It's all right. It's only opium. When I made my world-famous pilgrimage to Mecca in the guise of a certain Dr. Abdallah... by the way, the African trip, when am I getting paid?
You're not.
Not? Why not?
You're not going.
Not going? Why not going?
Well, Dick, the plain truth is, you're just not fit.
What? Infidel! Desert rat!
Hard lines. Saddens me just as much as it saddens you. Of course, if you don't make the trip, that is, if you don't appear to make the trip, much effort of mine will go down the privy, and I'll miss out on the winnings. Therefore, we are to resort to subterfuge.
What? Subterfuge. Oh, yes, that's the stuff.
The African Queen will leave from Tilbury, but you won't be on it. You'll stay behind, acquire a new identity.
Aha!
For 2 years, while you're meant to be on safari, you'll be another person. Here. You'll need a disguise, naturellement.
Yes, that's right. I shall acquire a cap and grubby threads, and shall go and dwell among the Cockney folk, and after a few days shall begin to converse with them quite fluently. Hello, me old ginger. Mind the apples and pears. Oh, but what about the book of the trip?
The book? Don't worry, Effendi. I'll take care of that. Chapter 1, Jungle Fever. The first day it was very, very hot. In the morning I shot an elephant. In the afternoon there was an outbreak of malaria and restlessness among the natives. In the evening I shot another elephant. And a native. Enter.
Good afternoon.
Miss Joyner.
I've come about the biography.
I'm so chuffed.
It's going to be in 2 volumes. And I want 3,500 for the pair.
3,500? Whose secret life is this? God's?
The fee for the first volume shall be paid in advance. And I'll receive half profits after the sale of 10,000 copies.
Right.
Also, I shall have the right to grant publication of juicy extracts in a national newspaper.
In return, you must be present at the launch party, must attend a minimum of 5 book-signing sessions, wine and nibbles to be provided, and must make yourself available for interviews with all reputable periodicals. Agreed?
Agreed.
Splendid. Prime cut. So, Miss Joyner, it simply remains for you to divulge the subject of your intended biography, and then we can draw up a contract.
Richard Burton, The Secret Life of.
What?
Richard Francis Burton, linguist, explorer.
Yes.
He set off for Africa on Tuesday, I believe, on a venture funded by your own firm.
Yes.
Extraordinary man.
A wayward genius.
I suspect he suffered a traumatic experience in childhood.
Oh, hundreds of them.
Hello, mate. How's things?
Why, it's, my old friend from the eel and pie shop.
Like me daisy roots, do you? got 'em all for geezer in the Old Kent Road. Hello, missus. Nice bonnet.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name's Katie Joyner, and yours, I think, is Richard Burton.
Miss Joyner! Miss Joyner!
Yes, Mr. Primus?
What is your plan at the moment, exactly?
My plan at the moment, exactly, is to write a vicious expose of Mr. Burton in 2.5 weeks max, and dash off with it to Chapman and Hall. The Secret Life of Dick Burton. It's going to be a big one.
Yes, well, pretty big.
You know, I don't think the bastard made it to Mecca either. Oh, Karachi. I'm not even sure his name's Richard Burton. He's the hoax of the century.
Yes, but what about the agreement we came to?
Not worth the paper it was never written on. I won't do a deal with you, sir.
What?
It was you who dreamt up the deception. You who hoped to benefit by it. You are a charlatan. You are a disgrace to the publishing profession. And I tell you, I mean to devote at least 3 chapters of my book to your shameful involvement in the fraud.
Thank you, flattered. Miss Joyner, please, think again. For the sake of poor Mr. Burton.
No.
For the sake of Spavin and all who worked there.
No! I dig deep, I tell all. I am merciless in my pursuit of the truth.
Is there nothing that will persuade you not to write the book?
Nothing, nothing.
What about money?
How much?
The first day it was very, very hot. In the morning I shot an elephant. Gerald?
Yes, Mother?
Which mentally impaired person wrote this manuscript?
Not sure, Mother. I think it came here in error.
I think so too. I think that in recent weeks a great deal has come here in error.
Good morning.
Oh, it's you.
Absolutely, darling.
And me. Morning.
Gerald, darling, I'm whisking you off to Fortnum's.
Are you?
Oh, but before you go, an update on Miss Katie Joyner.
Oh, can't the update wait?
Who is Miss Katie Joyner?
She writes biographies, darling.
But she's not writing Burton's.
Primus has bought her off, the clever boy.
Yes, in my experience there are few problems in life that grubby Gelt can't solve. The fearless seeker after truth has taken her money and run. A sad comment on humankind, eh?
Gerald, what is the buffoon talking about?
I'm talking about 3,500.
3,500?
Yes.
Oh, may I ask who's 3,500?
Spavin and Spavins, of course. It's the figure I originally agreed as the fee for the book.
And now, Gerald, Miss Joyner's getting it for not writing the book.
See, this all worked out pretty satisfactorily. Nespa?
Mother!
Oh, darling, is she all right?
Heart attack.
Oh, hard line.
Yes, very. I think I may be having one too.
That was episode 2 of Bookcases by Martin Wade. Primus was played by Michael Cochran, Cordelia by Maggie Steed, Edith by Elizabeth Spriggs, Gerald by David Horowitz, Richard Burton by Norman Rodway, Katie Joyner by Francis Jeter, and The Waiter by David Antrobus. Bookcases was directed by Cherry Cookson.
That was Gone for a Burton. That's it for this hour, but we will be featuring more of the bookcases in the next hour on Air Checks.